This is June 15th, 2026 edition of MLB Monday Sports Segment, or Baseball Monday Sports Segment, pardon me. And we are locking in, as we always do, to start with the MLB standings, of course. It's a June 15th edition as per usual. Not as per usual, what do you mean? What am I talking about? It's a June 15th edition. Let's get right into it. We're gonna start with the NL Central, and then we're gonna go up, and then we're gonna end at the NL West. Actually, we're gonna go down instead, and we're gonna end at the NL East. There you go. All right, let's do that. We'll just hop right into it. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys what we're doing today. I am so sorry, guys. Why did my OBS just go to full screen? No, thank you. We're doing the MLB standings, MLB transactions, college baseball, D1 Baseball Tournament update, and D1 Baseball transfer signings, news, re-signings, etc., over the past week. So we're doing that today. Let's get right into the NL Central, shall we? Let's not waste any time. Yo, why is this flashlight? Okay, we're good. Lock in. Number one in the NL Central is the Milwaukee Brewers, 43-26, 6.623 point percentage. Plus 100 total differential, by far the best in the NL Central. They are absolutely cooking right now. The rotation, led off by Jacob Mizorowski. His last start, he had a complete game shutout, 15 strikeouts, and he threw 105 miles per hour, which is the fastest pitch recorded by a starter in MLB history. This kid is something else. This kid is insane. Jacob Mizorowski right now, the 8-2 record, 1.34 ERA, 131 strikeouts. He's just crazy, man. He is just insane. He's number one. And then we got Brandon Sproul, who also, he's not the number two. Number two is probably Kyle Harrison, who's 8-1, 2.47 ERA. They also got Logan Henderson, who's hurt, who has a 2.74 ERA. Brandon Woodruff, 3.6 ERA, is also hurt. Coleman, and Quinn Prestier, who's also hurt. But their rotation's hurt, and they're still doing this good. Bullpen, Abner Robe, Trevor McGill, Aaron Ashby, Grant Anderson, Drew Rom, Chad Patrick is in the bullpen. If you look at their stats, fourth in batting average, third in runs, ninth in hits. They don't hit much home runs, but they get on base a lot, and they drive them in, but they do not hit much home runs. But Brewers are definitely number one in the NL Central, and they deserve to be. Number two is the St. Louis Cardinals. In their bullpen, their rotations: Matthew Liberatore, Michael McGreevy, Dustin May, Kale Leahy, and Andrew Palante. Bullpen: Riley O'Brien, Jojo Ramiro, George Serrano, Hunter Dobbins, Ryan Stanek, Matt Savanson, and Mikolas. So, not Mikolas, he's in Nationals. What am I yapping about, bro? Anyways, if you look at some of the bats, they're 11th in batting average, 11th in hits per game, 11th in home runs per game. They're slightly above average in basically everything when it comes to hitting, and when it comes to the defense. And the defense is pretty decent too. It's above average defense. Pretty good defense. It's just their pitching staff hasn't been as good, and that's the whole reason why they're not any higher than what they are. As you can tell by their run score and run differential. In general, then the Cubs are number three. They're so hurt. Their rotation's so hurt. They let up so much runs because of it. Ben Brown is their ace. They're 20th in batting average. It doesn't help. 11th in runs. 15th in hits. 14th in home runs. 20th in doubles. They don't have the greatest bats. The rotation's hurt. The bullpen's hurt. They're hurt, and they haven't been good. So, I mean, the Cubs are just having a horrific season. And not horrific, a good season, but horrific compared to what it could have been, if you get what I'm saying. Are we serious? What did you do? Yep. Let's keep it over there. Oh my goodness. Let me lock it. Okay. Number four, and number five are the Pirates and the Reds. Pirates have really good bats, but their pitching is actually pretty bad. I thought their pitching was pretty good at one point. They have a couple of decent pitchers, and obviously Paul Skeens and Braxton Ashcraft and Mitch Keller. They got three decent pitchers, but there's a couple of pitchers there. They don't have good pitching depth. The bullpen's been pretty mid, but their bats have actually been pretty good, which is surprising. But the Reds' bats have been bad, and they're just bad, dude. I don't know. Might be because they're playing a tough division, but they just haven't been good. Bullpen's been atrocious. Starting rotation's been inconsistent. The bats have been pretty bad. That's what the NL Central's looking like right now. And the Brewers definitely look like the best, especially when the rotation gets healthier. It's over for the rest of the division. The Brewers are winning that division again. And then the 2, 3, and 4 spots are a dogfight, and Reds are going to finish 5th. That's really what it comes down to. The Brewers are the best in the division. Cardinals, Cubs, and Pirates are going to fight like heck to get the 2nd and 3rd spots, which would both probably be wild card spots. 4th would probably be the worst of these 3, and then the Reds would be the 5th. That's just how it's realistically going to be, but you never know. The Reds could go into a crazy run and go up to 2nd. I don't know. A lot of season left, far away from the end, but that's just my prediction. That's how it's shaping up to be at this point in the season. A lot of time to go, though. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go to the NL West. Number 1 is the LA Dodgers, of course. They are 45 and 27, 6.25 win percentage, 5 and 5 in the last 10, and they have a plus 141 run differential. The only team in this division to have a plus run differential, let alone plus 141. Pretty good on the road and at home, so they're not like home merchants or anything like that. If you look at their depth chart, starting rotations: Nancy, Yashinori Yamamoto. Glasnow is hurt, but he would normally be in there. Shohei Ohtani, Emmett Sheehan, Roki Sasaki, and Justin Robolowski. Also, Blake Snell is hurt. He would also be in there. Bullpen: Tanner Scott, Edwin Diaz, who's hurt, but he would be in there. Alex Vesia, Blake Trinan, Dreyer, Will Klin, Eduardo Henriquez, Kyle Hurt, Evan Phillips is hurt. Brock Stewart and Grastro are also hurt, but they would be in there. And Jonathan Hernandez. Will Smith is also hurt. He's a pretty decent piece that is hurt, but they're 1st in batting average in the whole league, 2nd in runs, 2nd in hits, 2nd in home runs, 4th in doubles, 2nd in RBIs, 4th most walks drawn, 5th. They got caught stealing the 5th least amount of time. If that makes any sense, picking up on putting down. The 3rd in ERA. In the pitching, the 3rd in EOA, 7th in strikeouts. They leave the least amount of hits, least amount of runs, 3rd in earned runs. They're just nasty. If you look at the defense is also top tier. 2nd in fielding average, 15th in putouts, 2nd at least amount of errors, and they're just good, man. They are really good. And yeah, Dodgers are one of the best teams in the whole league, and they'll probably, honestly, if we're gonna be honest here, they're probably my pick to win the World Series as of right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like, them going back to back to back is looking not too far off right now. The Padres were really close, but they're starting to fall off game by game. They're 37 and 33 at this point, but they're 5 and 5 in the last 10, minus 10 run differential. If you look at their schedule, they have back to back. They just won the series against the Orioles, which they needed that, but before that, they were on a 4-game losing streak. 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 1, and then 1-1, lost 1, and then they're finally actually able to put together back-to-back wins here against the Orioles, and now they're playing a tough 3-game series on the road in St. Louis. I would not be surprised St. Louis wins that series, and they're just like, this team cannot put back-to-back wins together. They finally are able to do it, and now they're playing the Cardinals, which is not going to be an easy series. The bullpen is Michael King, Randy Vasquez, Walker Buehler, Griffin Cannon, Lucas Galito, Nick Pivetta, Marquez and Musgrove are hurt, but Pavita would definitely be should be their ace, but he wasn't very good this year, and he was hurt, and he's been hurt. Bullpen, obviously the closer, best closer in all baseball, one of the best ever, Mason Miller, and then you got Jason Adam, Riley Rodriguez, Peralta, Wandy Peralta, Matsui, David Morgan, all in the bullpen. The pitching has not been bad. It's not been good. I mean, it's not been horrendous by any means. It's actually been pretty decent. I'll say this. Bullpen and the pitching has not been that bad, but the bats have been so disappointing, man. 30th in batting average, 30th in runs, 30th in hits, 20th in home runs, 25th in doubles, like 30th in RBIs. Like, they're just not good. But the pitching stat, they're 9th in ERA. The 6th in runs, like the 6th least amount of runs let up. They're 10th. They have top 10 in hits. Like, the 1st in fielding average. So the defense is good and the pitching staff has been above average for sure. But the bats have not been able to put it together consistently enough to be able to stay afloat with the Dodgers. They're losing ground. And then Diamondbacks are 3rd. They're not able to overtake them. They're a game and a half behind the Padres. They're 36 and 35, one game above 500, which is why they have a 507 win percentage. 4 and 6 in the last 10. Similar situation to like like, I don't know, man. Like, their bats have been all right, but their pitching staff hasn't been very good either. Zach Gallen, Brian Nelson, Rodriguez have been good. Eduardo Rodriguez have been pretty good, but other than that, they don't really have a number 2 pitcher. Really, Mel Keller's been all right at some times, but the bullpen's hurt, and even even the one they do have has not been the best. The 22nd in batting average, 24th in hits, 25th in home runs, 7th in doubles. They do get a lot of doubles, but first in triples, they get a lot of extra base hits, so just not much home runs. But their pitching staff, they're 17th in ERA. They have the least amount of strikeouts, though. 30th in strikeouts. 5th in walks per 9 innings, so they have a lot of walks. And the 3rd in fielding average, too. They have the 3rd least amount of errors. So, like, they're good at defense. They're not terrible at pitching. They're not terrible at batting. Yeah. What am I talking about, bro? They're not terrible at pitching, but the batting has not been good, and the pitching hasn't been too good. So the batting below average, pitching about average, defense really good, pretty good, and that leads to where they are. What are you doing? What's this guy doing, bro? Okay. Anyways, San Francisco Giants and Rockies are 4 and 5. They're just so bad, dude. Like, just look at the run differential. -56. San Francisco Giants let up a lot of runs, don't put up nearly as much. And the Rockies actually do put up quite a bit of runs, but let up by far the most in the whole league. Like, they let up so much runs. They could also say, well, that's because they play in Coors Light. Like they play in Colorado. Well, put up more runs in. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, dude. They play the same amount of games Colorado as the opponents do. Like, against them, you know what I'm saying? Like, if the team plays against you in Colorado, that means you're playing in Colorado too. Like, what? They're just bad, bro. Accept it. I'm gonna go back up to the AL East, and that's where the Yankees are number 1. Ding, 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 ding. Told you. Buddy, what are you yapping about, Brumskin? Yankees rotation, Max Fried's hurt. But they got, Kim Schleitler, Will Warren, Brian Weathers, I would say, Carlos Rodon, Garrett Cole. But they get Max Fried back, it's just that much better. Don't mind the background noise. My little brother's turning on the TV, so if you hear that, it's alright. That ad was actually just really loud. You should hear it. David Bednar, Camilo Duvall, Fernando Cruz, Tim Hill, Paul Blackburn, Yarbar, Jake Bird, and Brett Hedrick are in the bullpen. The bullpen is nasty. The pitching's been good, and they put up a lot of runs. They're 16th in batting average. They're not that much. They're 6th in runs. 1st in home runs by quite a decent margin. 15th in doubles, 6th in triples. Like, they don't get on base a lot. They draw a lot of walks, and they hit a lot of extra base hits, and that allows for them to put 358 runs this season, and also not let up much. The Yankees are a very good team. The Rays, they're starting to fall off a bit. They're not terrible. They're starting to fall off compared to what they were. But they're 3rd in batting average. They get on base quite a bit. They're 5th in hits per game. They are 30th in home runs. They don't get a lot of extra base hits. Their pitching staff's starting to do slightly worse as of late. Bullpen's been slightly worse as of late, and their bats haven't been the best in the league. It hasn't been spectacular enough. And it doesn't mean they're not good, but they're not spectacular. And spectacular is a word that's overused. But spectacular means you're really good, and the bats have not been really good, if you get what I'm saying. The Blue Jays are number 3, 34 and 38. They're definition of a 500 team, dude. Like, the bats have been disappointing. The pitching staff trying to keep them in games sometimes, but their bats just can't get the job done a lot of times, especially against the Yankees in the last series. At least they played a different game up to this point, but that was the last series, I think. Let me just confirm that. Yes, the last series. But, like, even the last game they lost to the Yankees, lost 8-3, but the game before they lost 3-1. Like, they just cannot seem to find a way to win. And I don't know, dude. Like, they're not in the wild card spot anymore. They game in the half outside the playoffs because of that. And just, like, yeah. The Orioles are a half a game behind the Blue Jays in a similar situation. Like, they start off really bad, and then they went a little bit of a hot streak there a couple weeks ago, and then now they're starting to fall back off, and they're not going to make the playoffs. Red Sox are just so disappointing. You want to talk about a disappointment? One of the more disappointing teams all year. It's the Boston Red Sox. That's where you're gonna get it. AL Central, the White Sox. I'm telling you, dude, the White Sox are the real deal. They're 38 and 32. They put up a lot of runs. The pitching staff, you could say it's been fluky, but I mean, they're getting the job done, dude. They're really good at home. If you look at some of the stats, 18th in batting average, 4th in runs per game, the 23rd in hits, and the 3rd in home runs. They hit a lot of home runs. They get extra base hits. They draw walks. They capitalize. They put runners in when they need to. And if you look at their pitching stats again, the 20th in ERA, so the 6th in hits, like, and then the average defense. But their bats have just been able to get the job done. Guardians 39 and 33. They're tied with the White Sox. Pitching staff's been good. Batting staff has not been the great. Bats have not been the best. They're the reason, and they're a team that can beat anybody but can lose to anybody. That's what the Guardians are. I've seen them beat the Yankees, and I've seen them lose to way worse teams. Twins are number 3 in the division. They're 33 and 40, 6.5 games behind the White Sox. They're in a situation where they're trying to dig themselves out of a hole, but the hole's not too deep, where they can dig themselves out and try to make a playoff spot. Because they're only 3 games behind a wild card spot and 6.5 games behind number 1 in the Central. But they're getting further and further away, and they need to start putting some wins together to get back in the position where they can make the playoffs. Like, that's what they need to do at this point. If you look at the pitching staff's been atrocious. Like, their bats have been pretty decent. Buxton has been good, mostly off home runs in the league. And they got like Keyshaw, Josh Bell. Like, they got a couple of good bats. They got a few good bats. Brooks Lee, you know. But the pitching staff's been bad. Like, it's hurt at times. Even when they're healthy, they're just not good. Todd Bradley came back and he's been bad lately. Joe Ryan hasn't been the greatest in the last couple of starts. The bullpen hasn't been bad. Like, just not clicking. And then the Tigers and the Royals are both just bad, dude. Like, I think the Tigers are definitely better than the Royals, but not by a lot. The Tigers are in a lot of games, but they just cannot win the close games. And the Royals are just bad. Like, the Royals, yeah, they're just bad. We don't need to talk about the Royals. Bobby Witt, free Bobby Witt, dude. Free Bobby Witt. He is getting trapped in a bad team. Honestly. And when we go to the AL West, we want to talk about the worst division in baseball. This is probably it. Mariners are number 1 though. They're 37 and 36, 1 game above 500, 4 and 6 in the last 10, plus 21 differential. With depth chart, Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, George Kirby, Emerson Hancock, Bryce Mill, and Luis Castillo are their 6-man rotation. Yes, they have a 5 to 6-man rotation. The rotation is deep. That's one of the bright spots. If you look at their runs against, they have one of the best pitching staffs in the entire league. The bullpen, Andreas Munez, Alex Hoppe, you know, he's actually pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Nick Davila, Gabe Spear. Like, they got a couple of good pieces out of the bullpen. They have great pitching rotation, but the bats have been bad, dude. 22nd in batting average, 16th in runs, 17th in hits, 6th in home runs, 28th in doubles. They don't get in base quite a lot. They hit home runs, but that's about it. If they don't hit home runs, they don't get on base much. And they don't score runs because they only hit home runs. If they don't hit home runs, they don't do anything. And the pitching staff has to try to keep them in a lot of games, but they can't win. But since they're in a bad division, they'll probably make the playoffs one way or another. Athletics and Rangers are both tied for number 2. We'll talk about the Athletics first. Both of them are 5 and 5 in the last 10. But Athletics are minus 51 run differential. Like, dude, when they lose, bro. Like, I'll tell you that much. Pitching staff's pretty hurt, but they're 8th in batting average, 7th in hits, 8th in home runs. It's 14th in doubles. And, like, they get on base quite a bit. They hit home runs, like Langoliers, Nick Kurtz, those guys, they hit home runs. The pitching staff isn't bad. The starting rotation's bad, the bullpen's bad, and that's the whole reason why they're not winning the division, because how bad the pitching staff has been. And until the pitching staff and players like Jeffrey Springs, Gage Jump maybe does something, JT Ginn, Jack Perkins, and that starting rotation finally does something, or that bullpen steps up, somebody in that bullpen steps up, like, it's gonna be bad. Rangers are tied with them, but they have a much better run differential, with a 57 better run differential. Their run differential is plus 6. Rangers are on table. Nathan Eovaldi's a great, Jacob deGrom's a great number 1 pitcher. Nathan Eovaldi's also pretty decent number 2. Mackenzie Gore and Leiter need to be better. But they have a couple of good pitchers, 2 to 3 decent pitchers, but their bats have been below average. But the pitching staff's the reason why they're where they are when they are, and they're in a position that they could definitely win the AL West. But we take a bit of a jump down with the Astros, 2 games behind the Rangers. Again, they're not too far off. Like, their bats have been good enough to where they can keep them in, like Yordan Alvarez, Altuve, Correa, you know. they're keeping it in it. Like, their pitching staff's been so bad for the most part, but the bats are keeping it in the race. And if their pitching staff can lock in, the bat can stay where they are, they could definitely mess around and win the AL West. And the Angels are just bad. 29 to 43. Again, they're not like too far out of it, but again, they're getting to the point where it's like, I don't know how they can do this, you know. So, yeah. Last division here, the NL East. The Braves are by far number 1, 8 games ahead of number 2. They're just crazy. Plus 107 run differential. They're 26 and 15 against teams 500 or above. Look at their rotation. Chris Sale, Spencer Strider's hurt, but Chris Sale, Elder, Grant Holmes, Perez, and J.R. Ritchie are the 5-man rotation. As of right now, they got a couple of pitchers that are hurt, but the bullpen is nasty, dude. Iglesias, Suarez, Dylan Lee, Renato Lopez, Dodd. You know, their rotation's really good. The bats are 5th in batting average, 4th in runs, 5th in hits, 5th in home runs, 17th in doubles. They get on base a lot. They draw walks. They hit home runs. They're deep when it comes to the bats. Like 1 through 9, they're deep. The rotation is deep. The bullpen, it's deep. Like, this whole team is deep. They're experienced, and they're ready to go, and they'll definitely win this division. Phillies and Nationals are going head-to-head, but Phillies are a game and a half ahead of them right now. If the Phillies can catch up me, I don't see why not. I don't see why they can't. They're half a game ahead of, half a game in the wild card spot right now. And just, like, their pitching staff has been, the bats have been bad, like, disappointing. Like, Schwarber's been alright, but if he doesn't hit home runs, he's doing nothing. Harper, same thing. If he's not hitting home runs, he's not doing much. And the bats have been inconsistent. The pitching staff's been decent for the most part, but inconsistent overall. And just, like, yeah. Nationals, their bats have been phenomenal, but the pitching staff's been bad for the most part. But I've seen games where the pitching staff's been alright. Marlins, they're starting to catch some heat. They're 8-2 in the last 10. They're getting really good starts. Like Max Meyer, I know he's been getting a lot of good starts. His run differential is dead even, and just, yeah, they're a 500 team, that's for sure. Like, everything, the run differential is even, the record's even. Like, they're an even team. They're 500, bro. I'll tell you that much. The Mets are just disappointing. The bats have been bad. The defense has been bad. The pitching staff's been bad. Like, pitching staff's been alright, but yeah. Quick run through. We're gonna look at the wild card here. Number 1 are the Yankees in the AL. Number 1 in the AL, and the Yankees. Number 2 are the White Sox. So if it ended today, the Yankees and the White Sox would get byes. Number 3 would be the Mariners, and they would play the Athletics in the first round. And then it'd be the Rays and the Guardians in the first round as well. Teams right outside the playoffs: Rangers, Blue Jays, Orioles, Twins, Astros. In the NL, the teams with the byes: 1 would be the Braves, 2 would be the Dodgers. Those are the 2 teams with the byes. Number 3 would be the Brewers. They would play the Padres. And the Cardinals play the Phillies in the first round as well. Teams right outside the wild card in the NL: Nationals, Cubs, Diamondbacks, Marlins, and Pirates. Reds are not too far off. Mets are falling off a little bit, but they're sticking right there where it's possible. And then the Giants and the Rockies are not making it. As I'm feeling right now, my favorites come out of the AL, the Yankees. I think it's going to be Yankees or White Sox, ALCS. I know, 1 and 2. Same thing here. I think it's going to be 1 and 2. I'm thinking the Braves and the Dodgers. Like, they're by far the best 2 teams in the NL. And here, maybe the Guardians. I don't really believe in the Guardians. They're too inconsistent. The Rays, I don't believe in the Rays. I never really have. And the Mariners are just, they don't got the bats right now. The Athletics, they don't got the pitching staff. These are by far the 2 best teams, and the Yankees will probably run away with the AL. They'll probably go through the AL relatively, not easily, but relatively easy. And in the NL, the Brewers can never get it done in the playoffs, and they don't have a deep pitching rotation as of right now because they're hurt. The Cardinals, they're inexperienced. The Phillies are inconsistent. Padres are inconsistent, and they don't really have the bats. The Nationals get in, they don't have the pitching staff. The Cubs are hurt, and they don't have the pitching staff. Like, the Braves and the Dodgers are by far the most 2 complete teams and experienced teams in the NL. And then I'd probably take the Dodgers to upset the Braves. I wouldn't say it'd be an upset, but I'll take them to beat the Braves. And then Dodgers beat the Yankees. Like, it's so bare bones and it's so, like, basic, but that's literally what's going to happen. Like, I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be it's going to be the Dodgers over the Yankees World Series. Guardians usually get hot after All-Star break, and that could be. I mean, they're inconsistent. You never know. They could get hot or get really cold. Like, I don't know. But, like, I'll just tell you that now, that Guardians are too inconsistent for me. I just don't like a team that's that inconsistent to go all the way. I just don't. I need a consistent, complete team. That's just me, though. You never know. They could get hot at the right time. Prediction could change a lot. You have the right time, you never know, dude. You don't need to be completely consistent. If you have the right time, you will be consistent. Trust me. Seen it happen before. Here is MLB transactions over the past week, and we go through. I'll name the ones that are big ones here, but I'll just quickly scroll up through them so you guys can look at it. Oops. So you guys can kind of get a look at them here. Jake Woodford released from Milwaukee. Austin Slater purchased by Tampa Bay. Uriel Rodriguez assignment by Toronto. Ethan Roberts recalled by the minors from Chicago. Alcantara options at a minor by Chicago. Brady Montgomery contract purchased by Chicago. That's a pretty big one. Keegan Thompson designated for assignment by Colorado. Get a look down there. Nick Davalia recalled from the minors by Seattle. Nick Parada released by Texas. A couple of moves by Toronto there. Jeff Brigham released by Chicago. This is a crazy name, by the way. Just wanted to mention that one. Nick Parada signed minor league contract in San Diego the same day he got released. I believe it was the same day. Kind of look. J.R. Richard recalled by the minors by Atlanta. Logan Porter. Billy Cook recalled from the minors by Pittsburgh. Much time we got? Let's got 20 minutes. We're good. Will Brennan, T-Bold, down there. Couple moves by Chicago. White Sox. If there's anything you guys mentioned, you can let me know too. I mean, feel free to chat anytime you want about anything. Not about anything. Obviously, you know, follow the rules, but like, you know what I'm saying. Anything crazy, you guys? Zach Short designated for assignment by Detroit. Yep. Nolan Gorman optioned to the minors by St. Louis. Tyler Heineman designated for assignment by Toronto. David Schreider recalled by the minors from Toronto. From the minors by Toronto. Ty Madden starting pitcher. Back to the minors by Detroit. PJ Pullen recalled from the minors by Washington. PJ Higgins optioned to the minors. By Cincinnati. And that's it. Those are the moves, the MLB transactions in the past week. Let me know anything else I messed with, this website messed or whatever. Feel free to let me know. We're going to be moving on to the college baseball super regionals, college baseball World Series, and then where we are right now. Quite a bit happened in the last 2 weeks, I'll tell you that much. Show screen here. We went over all the regionals. Let's go over the super regionals. West Virginia advances over Cal Poly. They swept them. Knew that was going to happen. Troy beat Little Rock. I'm pretty sure I predicted that one too. North Carolina beat USC in 3. Yep, knew that was going to happen. Ole Miss upset Auburn. I was shocked about that one. Georgia beat Mississippi State. Knew that was going to happen. Texas beat Oregon. I had that one happening as well. Alabama swept St. John's. Knew that was going to happen. Oklahoma upset Kansas. I really thought Kansas was going to win this. Oklahoma has been one of the underdog stories for sure. Trades. Those include trades. Those transactions include trades, don't they? I'm just going to confirm real quick. That's a good call out, though. Appreciate that. Yeah, all types. Yes, those include. Appreciate that, though. But yes, those include all trades. And it says if they're traded right below. Okay. So that's what happened, and all of those happened, and now we're going to the College Baseball World Series. I'm going to pull up my phone here so I can look at the exact games. When did this start? When did the College Baseball World Series start? Okay, before that. Okay, it's Friday. West Virginia defeats Troy 7-5. What an opening game. As they get the first win, and now Troy has to battle for the season next game. North Carolina beats Ole Miss pretty handily, 6-2. North Carolina still wrecking house, and now Ole Miss has to fight for their season against Troy, which you could clearly tell they got eliminated, but we're not glad that didn't happen. Oklahoma dominates Alabama in a bit of an upset. Again, Oklahoma just rolling, bro. They're rolling. Now, Alabama has to fight for their season. Alabama's like, it's tough, dude. And then Georgia dominates Texas. Georgia, again, Georgia, they're a football school, man. They're coming in here, third in the country, dominating number 6. Texas has to fight Alabama for the season on the line, man. Sunday, Troy able to beat Ole Miss. 18th ranked Ole Miss is out of here. They're 0-2. They lost both games in Omaha. Troy stays alive. They live to fight another day. Ole Miss is out of here. See you next year, Ole Miss. North Carolina defeats West Virginia. Now West Virginia has to fight for their season, and North Carolina 1 win away from the College Baseball World Series championship game. If we look at Monday, which is today, all we know is that Texas destroyed Alabama 14-4. You can look at my phone when it loads. 14-4. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that, chat? 14-4. 14-2. Pardon me. 14-2. Dominant game from Texas. They were mad. Texas, a couple wins away from the College Baseball World Series. If Georgia wins today, they'll be 1 win away from the championship as well. And Tuesday is going to be West Virginia versus Troy. Loser goes home. Winner will face Carolina for a chance to go to the College Baseball World Series. Huge game tomorrow. Wednesday will be... Wait a minute. Script leaked? North Carolina, West Virginia? Script leaked? Why is it safe for Wednesday? Wait a dang minute. Anyway, that's where we're at right now. I think West Virginia, or North Carolina will go to the College Baseball World Series. I think they'll beat West Virginia. I think West Virginia will beat Troy. North Carolina beats West Virginia. Ooh. I think Georgia goes on from here. Georgia will end up beating Oklahoma. And that's going to be the matchup. Georgia goes on. Georgia beats North Carolina. Georgia going to be national champions. Georgia's cursed. Because I don't know how to predict this, right, for some reason. So Georgia's cursed. It's confirmed. Last little segment of the sports segment. Actually, the segment of the sports segment. No, I'm moving on. Okay. Let's get on here. Blockbuster transfer commitments. These are between June 8th and June 15th. D1 Baseball. Cade Kurland goes from Florida to LSU. Lincoln Garcia goes to Texas Tech to Texas. Jason Wax, elite outfielder, committed to LSU. Reno Waters goes to Notre Dame to LSU. Zach Stevens, right-handed pitcher, goes to Auburn. John Beverly goes from Georgia State to Auburn. Renee Chrisman goes to Mississippi State. Full-game roster overhauls: Hayden Johnson. For Coastal Carolina, Hayden Johnson, Daniel Parker, Colby Richardson, Bryce Istep, Walker Mitchell, Jackson Winter, Winner, I don't know. You guys tell me how to say that one. Luke Jones, all committed to them. Auburn Tigers, exits: Saxon Roberts, Mason Koch, Bristol Carter, and Wade Shelley. Louisville Cardinals pitching departures: Colton Hartman and Nicholas Bullard. Yeah, okay. Head coaching carousel: Houston Cougars newly appointed head coach Will Davis. South Carolina Gamecocks benefited from media portal. And that's kind of where we are there. This is some of the stuff that happened in the past week. And yeah. With that being said, that's going to do it for June 15th, 2026 edition of Baseball Monday. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed very much. And I'll see you guys in the next video as always. Peace out.